And today we're tackling leadership.
Right. It's this concept that I think for many of us feels like it belongs to other people, those folks who just seem born with it.
That feeling, yeah. You look at someone really successful and think, okay, they must have some secret sauce, something I just don't have.
Exactly.
But the material we looked at, it really pushes back hard against that idea. The sources are pretty clear. Real leadership, the kind that lasts, it's not found, it's made, it's forged.
So our mission today is to kind of distill all that down. We want a clear guide for becoming what these sources call a builder.
Right, a builder, someone who makes a real impact, creates something lasting, even if maybe right now you feel totally unqualified or overlooked.
Yeah. So we'll look at the internal stuff, values, mindset, and the external, like vision, influence, how to be resilient.
And we promise you, we've got a clear structure here, some really surprising examples, and hopefully the key insights you need to see that leadership. Well, it often just starts with an ordinary person deciding, okay, this is on me.
All right, let's unpack that. Leadership doesn't kick off with a press release or some fancy title.
No.
It seems to start way earlier, like fixing a problem maybe nobody else even noticed. And that first step, according to the sources, is internal. You need a solid foundation.
That foundation is your core values. They give you that internal clarity. They ground you when things inevitably get rocky.
Okay.
And really importantly, they shape your big decisions, what you say yes to, what you say no to. They're about what you genuinely stand for, regardless of the situation.
It's interesting how the sources connect developing these values to your environment. Like, we pick up so much just by watching others.
Yeah, like Bandura's social learning theory suggests, or even going way back to Aristotle, those early life influences.
So does that mean the first step in leadership is actually being kind of ruthless about who you watch, who you let influence you?
It definitely implies being conscious about it. You have to audit your values. So maybe you inherited a certain way of doing things, like a tough love style. But what if the people you need to lead actually thrive on affirmation? If there's a mismatch, your impact is going to be limited. You've got to consciously choose the values that fit the builder you're trying to become.
And the real test of those chosen values.
Yeah.
It comes under pressure, right? Integrity isn't cheap.
Never. The source uses that just incredibly difficult story about Nelson Mandela in prison.
Oh, right. The funeral.
Yeah, 1969. His eldest son, Thembi, died. Mandela was offered a deal, attend the funeral, but only if he renounced his anti-apartheid stance.
And he said no. He chose the struggle, his core commitment, over that deeply personal moment. He famously said, prisoners cannot bargain.
That's exactly legendary stuff. But okay, bring it down to everyday life. Modern pressures, losing a client, having to fire someone you like. How do you audit those values before that big test hits?
That's the key question.
Well, the material suggests it's about the small decisions, practicing daily. You face a minor ethical gray area or just a scheduling conflict even. Ask yourself, does this action line up with my stated value of, say, transparency, or am I making a tiny compromise here? Because people follow who you are, and they need to see that consistency in the small things before they'll trust you when the stakes are really high.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Build the muscle memory for integrity. So, foundation solid, values clear, but leadership needs movement, action.
Right.
Knowing yourself is one thing, but leading means doing. And doing invites that nagging voice of self-doubt. How does the builder get past that paralysis?
The source is really direct about this. Feeling like an imposter. It's normal, even for people achieving amazing things.
Okay, good to know.
Seriously. Qualification, it argues, comes second to purpose. Think about the examples used. Moses, stuttering. Joseph, betrayed and sold. Paul, a former persecutor. They stepped up because they felt responsible, not because they felt perfectly polished or ready.
So that brings us to this idea of the confidence loop. It's a core mechanism in the source material. You don't wait to feel confident before you act.
No, you absolutely don't. Confidence is the result, the reward you get for acting.
You have to flip the usual thinking.
Totally. The sequence is, you take action. That action builds competence. That competence then fuels confidence. And that confidence gives you the courage to take on bigger things.
Action, confidence, courage.
Exactly. Self-doubt, it loves in action, it thrives there. But proof, the actual result of doing something that tends to shut it up.
And that action, it can start really small. An ordinary beginning.
Doesn't have to be grand.
Could be that intern just paying close attention, like you said, or someone launching a tiny product from their garage. Or just, committing to putting out a blog post every week.
You need courage, sure, to face the fear. But you also need audacity, the willingness to act even when you're not 100% sure how it'll turn out.
The source uses David as a key example here, right? Before Goliath.
Perfect example. He built up that courage, that audacity, not by sitting around thinking about it, but by actually dealing with lions and bears while protecting sheep. Those smaller, constant battles, that was his training ground. That prepared him for the giant.
And underlying all this action is mindset. Carol Dweck's growth mindset comes up. Believing your abilities aren't fixed, they're developable.
Yes, but the source pushes it a bit further, I think. A builder doesn't just believe in growth, they kind of weaponize it.
Weaponize it. How so?
By seeing every failure not just as a setback, but as, well, as an investment. Immediate feedback that helps you refine your strategy. Failure isn't defeat. It's just data highlighting a blind spot you needed to see.
Okay, data. I like that framing. So we've got the internal engine, strong values, action overcoming doubt, growth mindset. But a leader needs followers, right?
Yeah.
How does the builder translate that internal strength into, like, external gravity, getting people on board?
It really starts with vision. A clear, authentic vision.
What does that mean, though? Vision.
It's connecting the dots.
Mm-hmm.
Your purpose, the why. Your passion, the fuel. And your direction, the where.
Connecting those three. Okay.
The source uses that parable of the sower analogy, which I thought was useful.
Right, the seed in the soil.
Yeah. The vision itself might be great, but the soil, the environment, how you nurture it, how you communicate it, that determines the actual harvest. Context matters.
And authenticity is key here, too.
Hugely. If you're just copying someone else's vision because it looks successful, you're missing that deep personal why. You won't have the resilience when things get tough.
Like the Colonel Sanders example.
Exactly. His almost obsessive commitment to his specific recipe is what kept him going after, over 1,000 rejections?
Yeah.
A borrowed vision just doesn't have that kind of staying power.
Okay, so vision is set. Now, getting people to buy in. The source makes a really sharp distinction between authority and influence. Why is that so important?
It's crucial. Authority, that comes with a title, a position. It can compel obedience. It basically guarantees compliance. People do it because they have to.
Right.
Influence, though, that's different. It's earned, built through your character, through trust, and that compels commitment. People want to follow, they believe, and you need that commitment, people willing to go the extra mile to achieve anything really difficult.
And building influence comes back to those fundamentals. Integrity and consistency. Doing what you say you'll do.
Definitely. The story of Dr. Cosmas Maduka, the founder of Coscar's Group, is just wow. A masterclass in building influence through immense sacrifice.
Remind us of that one. It was pretty extreme.
So he guaranteed a huge bank loan for his brother. Billions, I think it was. The brother disappears, leaving Maduka holding the bag. Legally, maybe he could have fought it, but
But he didn't.
no. He sold his own shares, took a massive personal hit, and repaid the entire debt. Why? To protect his name, his integrity.
Wow. Repaying billions he didn't technically spend, based purely on his word, his guarantee, that's the price of absolute integrity, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can see why the source highlights that level of commitment.
And it paid off. It preserved his reputation, earned him massive respect nationally, and actually opened up even bigger business opportunities later. That's influence built on bedrock.
And then there's the other side of that coin. Consistency.
Right. Less dramatic, maybe, but just as powerful. Think James Clear, the Atomic Habits author. His influence wasn't built overnight on one viral article. It came from consistently putting out 2 valuable articles week after week for years, even when, hardly anyone was reading initially.
That relentless consistency, it builds a body of work. It proves reliability. People eventually trust that.
Exactly. Dependability builds trust.
Okay, so this really sets the stage for the ultimate test, the crucible, as one source put it, quoting Vusi Thimpequeo, I believe. Leadership cannot be taught in a classroom. It is forged in the fires of pressure and adversity.
That's it. Adversity isn't a detour. It's not a sign you messed up or you're on the wrong path.
It's part of the path.
It's an inevitable, even necessary part of building anything significant. It's the fire that tests you, refines you, and builds that inner strength. The source uses the acronym CORE for that strength.
CORE. Okay, what's that stand for?
Courage, optimism, resilience, and emotional stability.
It's quite a list. Courage, optimism, resilience, emotional stability. Is the idea that CORE is what makes the difference between just getting through hardship and actually learning from it, growing from it.
I think so, yes. Adversity reveals wisdom, but only if you have that core foundation. Think back to Dr. Maduka again. Early in his career, he was betrayed by apprentices who lost customer money.
Wow.
That terrible experience taught him the critical lesson about legally incorporating his business, separating personal and business liability. A painful lesson, but invaluable. Adversity delivered wisdom because he had the resilience to learn from it.
The source also gives a very specific playbook for handling opposition, doesn't it? The Nehemiah map.
Yes. Rebuilding the Wall of Jerusalem in just 52 days, despite facing intense organized opposition.
What were his key strategies? How did he counter the attacks?
Well, he faced basically three kinds of attacks. First, mockery and ridicule, people trying to demoralize him and his team.
How was respond?
Ignore it. Just refuse to engage with the noise and keep focused on the work, on the mission.
Okay, ignore the noise. What was next?
Physical threats. Real danger. His strategy there was twofold. Pray and prepare. They didn't just hope for the best. The workers literally had building tools in one hand and weapons in the other.
Pray and prepare. Practical.
And third, he faced smear campaigns. False accusations trying to damage his reputation and derail the project.
And for those?
Stand firm on integrity. He refused to get dragged into lengthy, distracting defenses or secret meetings. He just stated the truth and kept building.
Ignore the noise, prepare for the fight while staying focused, and stand on your integrity. That's incredibly relevant for anyone leading anything difficult today.
Absolutely. But okay, building something great isn't just about weathering storms. It's about building something that lasts beyond yourself.
Which means moving beyond just personal achievement.
Exactly. It requires shifting focus to building systems and structures. If the whole thing relies only on you, if it falls apart when you go on vacation, it's not sustainable. It's not legacy.
Legacy is about what sustains after you're gone. And the key seems to be documentation. Yeah. Making the implicit explicit.
Precisely. Systems that can outlive the founder. We see great examples of this. Jeff Bezos and his annual shareholder letters.
Ah, the day one letters.
Yes. Yeah. Consistently documenting and reinforcing that mindset. Stay agile, customer-obsessed, avoid complacency. It becomes a transferable operating system for the company.
Warren Buffett does something similar with his letters, right? Explaining his investment philosophy year after year.
Exactly. Documenting the how and the why allows the core principles to persist.
And that connects directly to succession, doesn't it? Building legacy means building through other people.
Yes. Not just building for them, but empowering them. The goal is to transition the mission from being your personal cause to being a shared vision.
So others can take ownership, keep it going, even evolve it.
Right. Like a successful CEO handover or thinking historically, like Paul mentoring Timothy. You equip others to carry the torch, maybe even carry it in new directions you didn't foresee.
Okay, that brings us pretty much full circle on this roadmap for the builder. It's quite a journey.
It really is.
Starting with those non-negotiable core values, then finding the courage to act, even with doubt, building competence and confidence.
Then translating that into authentic vision, building influence through solid integrity and relentless consistency.
And finally, developing the CORE strength to navigate adversity, learning from it, and building systems for lasting impact.
It's a lot, but the sources emphasize it's a process, not an overnight transformation.
Yeah.
And to help with actually getting started, overcoming that inertia, there's that final acronym.
START.
Start over, break that.
See the opportunity. Take action, even small action. Adapt as you learn. Reflect on what's working and what's not. And trust the process. Keep moving.
See, take, adapt, reflect, trust.
Start. That's practical. It feels like something you can actually, well, start doing.
Right. It's the mechanism to just begin.
So the message is clear.
Yeah.
You really are equipped to start building right where you are. But we always like to leave you with something to chew on, a final provocative thought.
Mm-hmm.
This one relates to the idea of the unseen years.